It's time to make the cranberry sauce. The cranberry sauce is one of those things that can definitely be made ahead of time and is actually better the next day. So it's always a good idea to make your cranberry sauce the day ahead of time, or even 2 or 3 days ahead of time is fine. It can stay in the fridge almost indefinitely, like jam can. The other things that you can make ahead include things like mashed potatoes. Those are really easy to reheat on the stovetop. You might be able to make some of the, if you make homemade rolls, you can make the dough ahead of time. But not everything can be made ahead of time, so it's always good. You can also make some of the pie stuff ahead of time. You can cut up all of the apples for the apple pie ahead of time if you want to. You can make the pie crusts ahead of time, which I'm going to do tonight. So it's always a good idea to do as much as you can the day before, because the day of, there's a lot of timing that goes into everything, and you don't always have the freedom to do everything you want to do if you don't do stuff ahead of time. So I'm going to do cranberries, and the first thing that you need to do is wash and rinse the rinse the cranberries off and pick out the bad ones. So I just take the bag of cranberries. Now this is important. This is only 8 ounces of cranberries. Most cranberry bags are 12 ounces, so I'm basically going to make 2/3 of a regular recipe. And there will always be a few bad cranberries in every single bag. This one might actually have more than a few because it's a little on the older side, and that's okay. It's just you have to pick them out. And the best way to do that, aside from the stuff that you can obviously see like these, the best way to do that is to actually rinse them under water, because you can actually feel that better when they're being rinsed under water. And so what you're looking for when you're picking cranberries out is anything that's mushy. Like this is mushy, this is hard, and that's what you want, but this whole cranberry is going to go just because this part is mushy. I have a disposal, so I just throw these in the sink. But if you don't have a disposal, you'll need to use the trash can. So those are all good cranberries. And then you're going to put them in a pot. And now, a recipe that is from Cookie and Kate for naturally sweetened cranberry sauce. And it basically uses maple syrup and water and a little bit of orange zest. So I am going to use, it says to use a 1/2 cup. This was 8 ounces and not 12 ounces, and so I'm going to use 1/3 of a cup. This is where your math comes into play. But I'm actually going to use a scant 1/3 of a cup because there were so many cranberries that were not great, but it will be fine, I promise. I can't heat this with anything more than medium heat, this particular pan. I'm going to put a scant 1/3 of a cup, and scant just means a little less than. That's actually a little bit more than I wanted to put, so maybe this will be a little sweeter. And then it calls for another 1/2 of a cup, or in this case, 1/3 of a cup of water. So I'm going to go grab the scant 1/3 of a cup of water. And then I'm going to put in orange zest at the end. And it calls for about a teaspoon of orange zest. I am going to put in about 1/2 teaspoon. So what you want to do with this is the cranberries are going to heat up and they're going to pop. And that you want every cranberry to pop. And that creates the gel. That is the cranberry sauce, and makes it like jam. But it takes a while. So. Alright, so the cranberries are already starting to pop. It's a little sooner than I anticipated, which is great. You can hear them every now and again. You'll hear a little pop, like that. Sometimes it'll spritz. So you're going to want to clean off your counter when this is, or your stovetop when this is all done. But they get really tight, really taut right before they pop. And after they all pop, you're going to want to squish them by the side of the pan to get all of their pectin out. All right, so most of these have popped, and I am just pushing down on some that haven't popped quite yet. But as you can see, the mixture is boiling pretty well. You want to keep stirring it so it doesn't like stick to the bottom or whatever. This pan is pretty nice that way. It doesn't usually stick. But you do, again, want to make sure that every cranberry is popped. and pop the ones that haven't popped yet, just like that. And then once you're pretty sure that you've gotten all that done, then you want to take your orange peel. Like I said, I'm going to use a half a teaspoon. This is actually a full teaspoon measure, so I'm going to use half of it. And put your orange zest in there. You can actually use jarred zest like I'm using, or you can actually zest an orange and put that in there. Some people actually put like regular oranges in their cranberry sauce and make more of a chutney or a salsa, but I just like to do it this way. And that is how you make cranberry sauce. Now you have to let this cool.
What should it be before you put it in?
It should be close to room temperature. You don't want whatever, especially if you're using a glass container, you don't want that to break when you put it into the refrigerator. So you want to make sure that, especially if you're using a glass container, that it is room temperature before you refrigerate it.